Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to talk about a term from computer science. It's called the flowchart. Before we introduce this term, let me ask you a question first. How do we usually explain a very complicated process? Should we just use pure text? Obviously, it's not enough to make it clear. At this time, some diagrams can help us here. I mean, a very complicated process can be illustrated by some well-designed diagrams. And actually, the flowchart is this kind of diagram. Today we will cover what a flowchart is, how we use the flowchart, and one example to help us to understand the flowchart. As for the formal definition of the flowchart, it should be a graphical representation of one process. At first, it should be a diagram, and then it should show us the workflow of that process. It tells us which comes first, second, third, and so on. Anyway, it should reflect the process exactly. When we look at this flowchart, we should know what the process is. In addition, we should know the flowchart is made up of some different symbols and some arrows. As for how to make a flowchart, we should learn about the process very well first, and then learn about the different symbols, because different symbols have different meanings. At last, we can transfer the process to a flowchart by making use of the different symbol and arrows. I will show you one example. As you can see, this is a flowchart. I call it Quinn's Plan on Saturday. It shows you Quinn's plan on Saturday. He will do something one by one in some order. As you can see, there are some different symbols: oval, rectangle, and diamond. These different symbols have different meanings. Now, I would like to introduce you to these three kind of basic flowchart symbols. The first one is the oval shaped flowchart symbol. We call it terminate. The terminate means it is the start or the end of the flowchart. It does not have detailed meanings by itself. It's just kind of signal of the start or the end of the flowchart. The second symbol is the rectangle flowchart symbol. We call it a process. But actually, it is a task. The third symbol is a diamond-shaped flowchart symbol. We call it a decision. Usually, a decision is a question. The answer to the question will determine the branch we will go in the flowchart. Okay, let's get back to this example. We have two terminators. One is the start, another one is the end. Then we have some rectangles That's the task. When we have some food, play some video games, and then to see if it is sunny or not. If it's sunny, he will go out to play basketball. If no, he will stay at home to clean the room. And last, he will watch some TV. Yeah, that's the whole process of Quinn's plan on Saturday. It's very clear. And last, I want to say, even this example is very simple, but actually the flowchart is used to describe some very complicated processes. So actually there are some other different kinds of symbols. We will talk about them next class. So to review what we have learned this class, we have talked about the definition of the flowchart and how can we make a flowchart, and some basic symbols to make the flowchart, and one example. So I want to give you a homework assignment. You should make a flowchart by yourself for any kind of process by using these three symbols we have talked about today. The due date should be next Tuesday. Okay, thanks. Does anyone have any questions?